Wow, it's so crippling. Wow. And then um, have you heard of the Green New Deal? And when the president has the power and the ability to avoid problem. I'm gonna get there right now. By the way, I got the number 9 sparkler firework. I've never seen number sparklers. I went there today. A neighbor took me down there. He bought some cool stuff. And then when he came back, I gave him a lot of my fireworks, just to give it to him. He got this 96 shot pearl. It's pretty cool. Uh, Phantom fireworks, Phantom fireworks, Phantom fireworks. Pretty good stuff. Moving ahead here. This is just unbelievable, unbelievable. Okay, first of all, I'm about to read, and I support this. As a president, I would support this here and now and here said. Legitimately support what I'm about to read. And this is someone else's. I'm bear in mind this could be someone else's idea and his point of view, not my point of view, but I agree with him. He was my uh, he was my principal. He was the headmaster at the school I used to go to back in the early '90s, over 27 years ago. But I went on his Facebook page and I'm going to share what he said. He said, okay. He said basically the president is a compulsive liar, an abusive bully who tries to use name calling to demean anyone who disagrees with his irrational positions. I agree with that. And then he goes on saying, then there's people that uh, they have back talk against what he said. But debate that. Malt liquor. Then he goes on saying, when our president is a self-confessed serial sexual abuser of women, when he betrays our democratic values and risks our country's security by making secret deals with our country's avowed enemies to subvert our free election process. I'm going to keep reading. To gain his own personal advantage, when he places himself and his cronies above the rule of law and tries to subvert our legal system for his own advantage, and when he attacks and tries to undermine America's sacred tradition of supporting responsible journalism only because responsible journalists do their jobs and tell these awful truths about him, and when he attacks and disempowers our allies in ways that directly support the primary international goals of criminal dictators and dictatorships like Putin and Russia, and when he repeatedly makes public racist comments, when our president teams up with the Russians to sow further division and discord in our country and to promote more hatred between the factions in our country as a way designed to improve his chances to winning an election. I'm going to keep going. And when we have an unfit and thoroughly despicable human being as our president, then there are darn well better be division in our country, because if there were not such divisions, then no one would be standing up, speaking and acting to oppose the disastrous presidency of an incompetent, narcissistic, egomaniacal demagogue who will willingly, joyfully, and gloatingly attack and subvert the very values that made America great in the first place. And finally, and the cruelest irony of all, if there were not such division and opposition, then our president, instead of making America great again, would be free to make America into a third world dictatorship and turn the clock back to the time when America used slavery to build its wealth, a time when America allowed the wealth and power of the robber barons to enable the powerful to buy immunity from the law, and to a time when America's government blindly allowed the ruthless and merciless exploitation of the workers and the farmers by the wealthy. And finally, if there were no division over these sins, there would be no America left to be made great again. There would only be models like Russia, Syria, Venezuela, where the leaders with Trump's instincts, demagogic skills, and values have already been allowed to become the autocrats, the despots and the tyrants who have already stolen control of all governmental powers or the entire country's wealth, of its free press, of its judiciary, and of its military. Then, with no division, you have Russia, where then journalists criticize Putin. They are assassinated in the streets as a means of preventing dissension and division. Or you have Venezuela, once the wealthiest country in South America, and the most blessed with natural resources, and the one with a solid democracy governing itself, and with a constitution, and with free elections, a free press, and an anti-dependent judiciary. Now dictatorships, an absolutely destitute country without food, medicine, electricity, or oil wealth, without a working economy, where the fabulous wealth of its natural resources as well as its democracy have been stolen by the autocrats. So while division is no fun, it is far better than permitting those whose behavior and lack values are the source of the division get away with making the rest of us be subjugated or be like them. That is a good point, sir. For anyone who understands values the crucial role responsible journalism plays in sustaining democracy, or has been horrified and frightened into Trump's nightmares by the fakeification of our news sources, Slate editor Will Roomis provides lucid, informative, thoughtful, and analytical, important review of the recent and heretofore little-known advent of burgeoning industry of tech-based news rating services such as NewsGuard, which aim to publicly and fairly rate the accuracy, reliability, and genuine independence of the ideological or the profit on massive online news purveyors such as Facebook, Fox News. Irresponsibility has, as Will writes, not that much of the news landscape lies in smoking rooms. This has nothing to do with the president, by the way, so I'm just going to bypass this. Shields the same way. Let's see. And then he says, McConnell sent Republicans preventing the Senate from giving President Obama a Supreme Court nominee hearing, thus effectively nullifying the portion of the Constitution that specifies the Senate shall provide its advice and consult for President's nominees. And why do they do it? Because they have the power to do it and get away with it. They have the power to do it and get away with it. Collusion, we're talking about the Russian thing that happened. They have the power because they have the power to do it and get away with it. They could get away with it. They know they could get away with it. They have the power to do it and they get away with it. They're crooks. Supreme Court, metaphorically, he's talking about sort of how they call themselves pirates, where the freedom's found in superposition. This one person said the Republican is dying the death of 1,000 cuts. Okay, guys, I'm gonna quit reading this. Okay, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna quit talking about politics. Join me in my next video. Alright. Well, I'm gonna still talk about politics.